Hey, what's up guys? So we are here going over Season 22's new addition for the 4th cube slot via the PTR with its new addition of the Shadow Clones. So first off, it is live right now for the PTR. And right now we have access to, of course, the 4th cube slot and more importantly, the new seasonal buff. What is that? So again, you get an extra cube slot and that it can be anything. And on top of that, you get these Shadow Clones. These are the same skins as the Haunt of Voxo. However, it is actually going to be a different Shadow Clone. You cannot stack the Haunt of Voxo, which is this amulet that some of you guys might have seen before, where when you stun an enemy, you're going to be getting these Shadow Clones. Now, these Shadow Clones are separate from the Season 22 Shadow Clones, as these roll on an RNG table of what build they will actually be doing in terms of the skills and stuff. But they actually are quite strong. So first off, to actually get these new Shadow Clones, what you have to do is activate a shrine. So the first thing that we're going to go ahead and show off, this is at Torment 16, which is as high as we can go without going into the greater rifts here. But I want to show you guys first off that I am not dealing any damage myself. The gameplay that you guys are going to be seeing is, of course, all of it. This is live right now on the PTR, but I want to show you guys that I can go ahead and activate my focus and restraint. I'm not dealing any damage myself. All the damage that you will be seeing in the gameplay is going to be from the Shadow Clones over here. So let's go ahead and hop right in. The easiest way to go ahead and show this off is just to go ahead and go into the Cow King level. So all you have to do is take a Bovine Bardiche, throw it into the cube, and there'll be a bunch of different shrines to go ahead and activate. But watch how powerful these are. I also wanted to mention that the Nemesis Bracers kind of have a weird interaction, as sometimes the Shadow Clones will get stuck, but since we have Teleport and the Aether Walker, we can just basically force them to go ahead and move with us. So here are these Shadow Clones. They can absolutely melt content. You can even go into higher greater rifts. I'm just trying to show you guys because it's much easier in the Cow King level to go ahead and summon a bunch of these. Now you can have more than one clone too. In fact, we're going to get a bunch of these as the Cow King level. We'll go ahead and, or I should say not the cow level, right? As that is what it's officially called. But it has a bunch of shrines, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and go over here. Go ahead and activate this. And once again, these guys do a massive amount of damage. Yeah, we'll go ahead and activate the other. You can see they're dealing so much damage. And they actually will be scaling with your stats as well, which makes them awesome, potentially for some greater rift bosses. Sometimes though, they do kind of like work weirdly and they just like don't function. It happens more so with Nemesis Bracers because perhaps their target is on top of them and it doesn't really know what to do. But this one didn't have too many shrines here. Unfortunately, we only had 2 shrines, but we have another one. Actually, we got 3. There we go. But you can see they do a bunch of damage as we don't do any of the damage here. But yeah, that's basically the Shadow Clones. They each have their own different skill set. It rolls randomly, but it's usually a bunch of different builds that have been seen in the past. So that's the Shadow Clones in terms of it on a T16 map. Now, out of the other things that it can do, I want to go ahead and go over that in the cube because some of you guys might be wondering, can you just run the Haunt of Voxo and get like more Shadow Clones? Yeah, you can get more Shadow Clones, but these ones don't do any real damage. They technically, yes, they do damage, but like it's not going to actually matter. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some testing over here with the Haunt of Voxo. So I'm just going to go ahead and just pull this up. So again, this is with Haunt of Voxo over here. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to the exact moment. So these Haunt of Voxos over here, this one actually has a cooldown of when it will be able to be activated, but you guys can see once these Shadow Clones come out, and they just don't do any damage, as you guys can see. They are still here, but they just do 0 DPS. This is on Torment 16 as well. Now, in terms of it being viable for high greater pushes, we just started the season over here, so I'll have to level up some more Paragons here, but even earlier on, like I was blasting through content. Let me go ahead and actually show you guys. This is going to be towards the end of a Greater Rift 81 over here, and you'll see that I'm not going to be doing any damage to the Rift Guardian. The clones just melted him as I got 2 pylons. You'll have to get kind of lucky, as that's just part of sometimes the seasonal theme in Diablo. So they are very powerful, and I'm sure that someone will probably make a build that will be able to go ahead and be a ZDPS. In fact, people were doing over 100s doing ZDPS already, but you will kind of need to still scale your main stat as well as your weapon. But the set bonuses will not be able to be activated through them. It's going to be kind of hard to test these out. This is just day 1, and I'll update you guys, or if any of you guys find some of this newer information, or if they patch anything, definitely let me know in the comment section below. But this is just kind of a theory on how some of the mechanics work. Again, this is something that is kind of hard to test out, as sometimes it's just they do a huge range on damage, and on top of that, you have to remember that every time you click on a pylon, it's random on which one that you will get. Some might do more damage than others. Some might scale with, let's say, your elemental damage. But this is how it seems to work, as a lot of different streamers have been kind of testing this out. Actually, I want to give some credit to another streamer named Rob, and I'll link him down below. But he actually found out a lot of information as well on this. So Nemesis, sometimes, again, it does kind of mess them up. Hunter Voxel will not work with the new Shadow clones. This is another thing that I personally tested this out for a really long time. This is the Ahavarion Spear of Lycander, and how it works is there's a chance on killing a demon to gain a random shrine effect. This will not give you the Shadow clones, unfortunately. It will still give you the buff effect of having, of course, that random shrine effect, but it does not give you the Shadow clones, unfortunately. And then on top of that, they do work with area damage, and it seems to work with crit stats. So even if you're running like a ZDPS barb, which I've seen people do, in fact, that's what Rob was doing, and how it worked was he was still running a furnace, and it seems to be scaling with your actual like damage as well as your main stat. It will proc area damage as well, so area damage is still something that you want to try to prioritize on a stat over there. And this is something that has currently not been confirmed. I've asked a lot of other people if they've figured this out in terms of the pet gem as well as Tasker and Theo. If you guys have tested this out, definitely let me know it down below in the comment section below, as it's kind of hard to test out. Apparently cooldown does work, but I haven't personally tested that out myself, as it's kind of hard. Sometimes you get the AI and they just don't want to do certain things, and sometimes they'll just do things faster, and you might be thinking, oh, it might have been because of my Tasker and Theo, or it might be due to cooldown. Again, that's something very difficult to test, as it's an AI mechanic, right? In terms of other things that I did want to go ahead and go over, they will not work if you go ahead and warp in. So like, let's say, for example, if I go to floor number 2, or if I like port back to town, they won't come back to town with you. However, they will still stay in the area. So like, let's say I go back to town, and then I immediately go back into the portal, they will still be on that floor. Granted, that is if they didn't already time out. Sometimes they just, again, don't function properly. But the other thing that I wanted to go ahead and show off over here is, does it work while leveling, and how good is it while you are leveling up in the game? So in terms of the testing over here, this one is going to be this is really low level over here. As you guys can see, I am currently level 19. This is one of my testings over here is, you know, like how good was it when you are leveling up? You can see how much damage I'm hitting for. We're hitting for like 2,000 over here. We're doing like okay damage over here. But what's massive is the amount of damage that it will deal, even at a very low level over here. So we'll go ahead and see, we have a Shadow clone. It just hit for 15 million over, then I'll do like another showcasing off on it actually critting, because they can crit over here. You'll see it does 15 million damage. This is at level 23 over here. And it seems to work slightly off, I want to say legendaries. I'm not sure if there's some type of threshold. Again, there's no confirmation on this, but like it just one-shotted that goblin over there. So the seasonal buff seems like it's pretty good. And on top of that, you get that extra cube slot. So there's actual potential, even if the seasonal buff is something that you don't want to mess around with for the mechanic. I could see some people really focusing in on some abilities, and we'll have to do more testing. But one thing that I was trying to do, and I will get you guys more gameplay footage and more testing here, but I was trying to utilize the Aether Walker, and then basically we just are utilizing like different set bonuses. I'm going to eventually make LOD, which is something that apparently does work with this buff. It seems like it just wants to have damage. So for example, example, the LOD just gives you that increased damage, and that's just going to increase how the shadow clone is going to be dealing damage as well. But if you roll something on, let's say like a slow time or something that adds a multiplier to a very specific ability, there's RNG on that, on of course which one you will be getting, but it doesn't seem to work off of, let's say, their own ability off of your set bonus, if that makes any sense. It's scaling off of just that bonus damage. So again, LOD, or maybe even Tal Rasha's over here, because this is just increase your damage versus increases arcane orb damage or X damage, if that makes any sense. So that seems to be how it works. Again, it's kind of difficult to test some of these, but definitely some of the things that I've mentioned, like the Haunt of Oxo won't work, and unfortunately the Spear doesn't work as well. But that's pretty much my findings with this, and I'm really excited to see this next upcoming season, if they're going to even change anything. But yeah, I wanted to make a build where we're just getting as much damage as possible. I'll have to level up LOD, and then on top of that, we'll also go ahead and level up potentially other gems and do some more testing, especially Enforcer, which is the pet gem that will go ahead and start scaling and give you extra pet damage. Because apparently some people were saying that Tasker and Theo works. Again, that's a very difficult thing to test as it is AI in the first place. But let me know your guys' finding down below, and I'll update you guys. But I just wanted to go ahead and make a quick little video day one, as a lot of people were wondering how does the mechanic work, and you know, obviously is the server live with the 4th cube slot, and it is indeed live, and there are no changes. Specifically the Crusader, very, very powerful as of right now. Again, we're just in day one, so people are starting to level up their paragons, and obviously that's going to be required. But Crusader is still a massive beast over here, with, of course, even without the seasonal buff, as they don't normally roll like the crit chance and crit damage, so they might not be getting that much of benefit off of the shadow clones, but they're already insane. They can already do 150s already on non-season. Now with the extra cube slot, they're going to be even more powerful. But anyways, just want to make a quick video over the shadow clone mechanic, but I know a lot of people wanted to see the Crusader nerfed, and it has not been nerfed, so we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. And if you are new to the channel here and you want to be updated, I'll probably make a video within the next couple days going over like all the shadow clone mechanics, as there's probably a lot of other things to go ahead and test out. And we'll definitely do like basically a ZDPS build, and we'll see if we can just teleport and just try to find all of those shrines, and we'll go ahead and get that massive shadow army and be able to basically just clear content super fast. But that's obviously RNG as well. Anyways, take care, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video, and I'm signing out. Peace.